Hey everyone, it's Lisa, and today I thought we would have just a little talk about dinner parties. I told you that I wanted to give you some of the tips that I have been using for years, and I discovered the hard way. These are just things that I think will make your dinner party just go smoothly. It will keep you from being stressed out. Most of all, what you want to do is you want to make everyone at your dinner party feel special. You want to have them come into your home, feel welcome. It's about the experience more than it is the appearance. So many people get just kind of bogged down and obsessed and worried and stress out about their table setting, which I realize, some people really love that. That is their passion. They want this elaborate table setting. For Thanksgiving, I just a few times looked on Pinterest and YouTube for different table settings because I'm in a new home and I thought I might do something different. I didn't know if my dishes were gonna go in here. I didn't know if I wanted a tablecloth. Did I want placemats? It's my first time with a round table, and I was just blown away at the amount of time and money people put into their tablescapes. If you are someone who loves that, I think that's great, but I do not think that's the most important thing. So I have 10 tips that I have been thinking of for the past few days and this morning, and I wrote them down, so hopefully I can be concise here and not go on and on. First one that I have learned this the hard way is to clean early. I used to feel like in my head, I'm not gonna clean the bathroom today because I want it to be freshly cleaned right before they get here. It's not that I wouldn't get that done, but that would just add so much stress rather than knowing, okay, it's clean, I can just go over, the toilet maybe with a Clorox wipe. Someone opens the shower curtain or whatever, that everything's going to be presentable. It may not be perfect, but I just really think that it helps to do all of your cleaning ahead of time, your vacuuming and everything. Like I used to want the fresh stripes, but that's really not as important as keeping your stress level down. That is going to be a kind of like a theme throughout this video, is having a dinner party and not letting it stress you out to the point where you never want to have people over again. I have just, like I said, I have made every mistake. The second tip is getting dressed and taking your shower either the night before or that morning. I would get up that morning or, wait throughout that day and just figure, well, I don't want to clean or cook or anything with my dress clothes on. So I'm going to wait till, it's right about time. Say you're having dinner guests over at 5. I'm going to wait till about 3 o'clock. It never fails that you will be so busy and so worked up and anxious. You are not going to either have the time or want to take the time to really enjoy getting prepared for your guests to come over, which leads into what to wear. I believe that you should dress up. Now, I don't think you have to wear a dress and heels, but what I think is something good to wear is a nice blouse with some comfortable pants, maybe even your jeans, maybe a dress. I have worn plenty of times dresses. I think that when everyone is first coming in your home, you should have your nice shoes on and you should have a nice outfit on. Now, later in the evening, if you want to slip into some nice sandals or some really pretty slippers or something like that, I understand that, because you might make people feel uncomfortable if you're like, clicking around in heels the whole night. They might not want to ask you to, for something, or it just might make them feel just uncomfortable. Dressing up is a sign to someone that they are special. You coming to my home is special. I care enough about you to want to dress up and not impress you, just like you would dress up for a date or dress up for any other special occasion. You want to make them feel like they are your special occasion, You value them coming over. You are excited about it, and they are worth your time and your effort to get dressed up. It doesn't take any more time. Make sure that you have, a few outfits that you feel comfortable in. Even if they are not as dressed up as you are the host or the hostess. If anyone says something to you, just say, this is a special occasion. I want to dress up for you. Something like that. Just make them feel as special as you can. Set the table the night before. I used to think, oh, I don't want the dishes to sit out because they might get some dust on them or something like that. If it makes you feel better, the next day you can quickly go over each plate with a dish towel. I don't know how much I believe the whole Virgo thing or whatever, but I think that when you learn more about the traits that you're supposed to have, maybe it makes you reflect on points that, it makes you think about it and self-reflect. And I have realized that not only with having people over, but with social anxiety towards going to a party or something, I will look forward to it. And then right at the end, I choke because I'm so hung up on making things perfect that I ruin the moment. These tips are ways that you can be prepared, you don't have to stress, and you don't have to ruin that moment by having anxiety. Get over the little things if you have those like I do, like the dishes being squeaky clean when they get there, because they will be perfect and you will have that done and you will be at ease. And as far as the tablescape goes, I like the look of a nice restaurant. When you go into a 5-star, 4-star restaurant, you don't sit down to, 10 plates, 3 napkins, a big conch shell, or, all this kind of stuff. It's kind of like nice and simple, clean, elegant. That is my preference. But like I said, different people get into different things. I just don't think you should get hung up on trying to impress people. If you are having guests over and all you're worried about is impressing them with your table, impressing them with your decor, you're not going to have making them feel special as much on your mind. And it's all about how you make someone feel. Along with getting the table set the night before, I think you should go ahead and get out all of your utensils, the spatulas, everything you might need. Like a lot of times with family, each person will bring a dish. You want to make sure that you have the utensils that you need. You want to make sure that you have them clean, spotless, out on the counter. You don't want to be like fumbling around in your drawers. You don't ever want them to feel like you are stressed, like they are a burden, or you're not having a good time with them at your home. The night before, the things that I do, I make sure I have my tea made. I make sure I have my lemons cut. I make sure I have my butter on the plate that I'm going to serve it on. And then I usually get that out that morning so it can be nice and soft for someone to put on their bread. Little things like that. Try to do every single thing you can in advance. Another thing that I happen to like, if you're having a larger party, like 10 to 15 people, and it's going to be several different tables, I like place cards because I think it is a little bit awkward, that moment. Where are you going to sit? Or where are you going to sit? Or where are you going to sit? And you feel like people just, aren't sitting with people that they would like to sit with. I like to have place cards. I ordered these for my Thanksgiving, but we ended up not really having enough people. All of the adults got to sit at one table, so I didn't think it was necessary. But I just ordered some simple black place cards, and I got just a metallic paint pen. Just think that's nice for everyone to kind of know where they're sitting. That way, if they have a drink, they can sit it down where they know they're going to be sitting. You'll see on TV shows, they will intentionally sit different people together to have them meet each other just for different reasons. I would have husband and wife, together. I would do it the way I think it would naturally want to occur. That is my purpose. It's not to manipulate two people to talk to one another or to make up or anything like that. It would be to relax the situation and make it even calmer. On the opposite side of having the table set and having everything ready, I still would say to prepare as much as you can, but there are some dinner parties. For instance, my Christmas Eve, it's going to be my immediate family. So it's going to be my mom and dad, my brother and his wife, my niece, and then my family, and I believe Brooke's boyfriend is going to be here. So the ambiance and the situation is going to be a little different. I am going to be prepared, but if I want to do maybe more a buffet style and have the dishes just already on the counter and have them just go through the kitchen, fix their plate, something like that, I think that is a good way to do it. Do all the things you can to be calm and to feel confident and relaxed, and have some hors d'oeuvres or appetizers set out on the counter, have some good places to sit, and make them feel a part of what you're doing. My goodness, this is the worst. Have you ever been to someone's house, or I've seen this on TV, where they have people help them? They have people help them do things. If it's your immediate family, and ice is another thing. You want to make sure the night before you have enough ice. A lot of times you will run out of ice. You didn't think about it. So like what we did is made sure we had a container of ice the night before in the freezer. But, you know, if they want to get up and put ice in the glasses or something like that, I think that's okay. But to really depend on someone to help you, or I think this is the worst, is when you have someone that wants you to help them clean. I mean, if someone wants to take their dishes and put it by the sink, I myself don't even want them to have to do that. It's the waitress in me. I know when someone's through with their food. You know, when they line their knife and fork up on the plate, when they've put their napkin down, there are signs that people are done with their plate. I would never want them to feel like they had to put their own dishes away or scrape them or put them in the dishwasher or anything like that. When I had, young children, I don't want them to feel like they've got to clean up the toys. I want them to be my guest and make them feel welcome. One thing I never did that I think by the time I saw people doing this, my kids were older, but I think it is a wonderful thing when you go over to someone's house and they have a babysitter to I don't think the babysitter should be responsible for everyone's children, but I think that's a nice touch, because when you have small children and they're playing in a different room, it's just nice to know an adult is there to kind of just let you know if anything's going off the rails or anything. So I do think that's a nice touch too. I think that's a great thing to do. So I just wanted to say, if it is a more casual party, I don't think that you have to have everything ready to go and the table set. You can do it more buffet style, and you can kind of bring them into what you're cooking, and it's a good conversation. So I think that that's great too. Number 5 is try to speak with each guest. Even if they are someone's +1 and you really don't know them, you are meeting them for the first time, try to take some time and make eye contact with them. Let them know that you are happy they are there. You don't have to have like a sit down conversation with them. You don't have to know their whole life story, but just 15 seconds to shake their hand, look at them in the eyes and say, I'm so glad you're here. You're welcome anytime. A lot of these tips too are not only from me having people over, but going to many different dinner parties throughout both of my lives, my first marriage and a different type of lifestyle, and then going through, hanging out with different couples and having young children, and you're at the point where you really can't go many places because your children are so young that you end up, I really enjoyed these days where you end up just going to their house. It's almost like you take turns. So a lot of these tips are things that I notice. You guys know I'm an observer. I analyze things. I really, kind of reflect on things when they're over. And you always remember the things that made you feel more relaxed. You remember how someone makes you feel. John had a boss, and his wife, I'm not kidding, she could have the whole work team over and their spouses, and a smile on her face just made you feel so special. She had it together. I really learned a lot from her. Number 6, keep the menu simple. I think that people really, unless you are just a great cook, you enjoy it, and that is part of the pleasure of you having people over, keep it to things that you know people love. I've got my basics. I know people love my corn souffle. I know people love the Cool Whip dream dessert. I know people love something as simple as hot, fresh brownies and vanilla ice cream. It doesn't have to be this grand souffle or this, special tiramisu cheesecake. Most people are going to love hot apple pie with a scoop of ice cream. If you will keep it simple, keep it to things that you know are loved. Like I used to have a crab dip that everyone loved, and I would make sure we would go get fresh crab meat and do a crab dip. Just, special appetizers. It doesn't matter what affair you go to. If you bring, and this is going to be the southern part, and you can call them something else. If you bring pigs in a blanket to a get-together, people are going to love them. It doesn't matter how many fancy dips and everything are out there. People love something that is just good. It doesn't have to be a special presentation. Make them with croissants. Put them in a beautiful bowl with a nice, beautiful, napkin or something like that. Just make sure it's good. I've been to so many dinner parties where it's just such a beautiful spread, but it's like everything was just, you know those restaurants too. I was talking to a friend about this the other day, like when you go out of town and you go to all these nice restaurants, and then the next day you see a Cheesecake Factory and it's like the best meal you've had the whole time. Try to combine, that restaurant nice experience with that good food. This also keeps the stress level down with you because you've cooked it before. My corn souffle, I know exactly how to double the recipe. I know exactly how much longer I need to do it. Every time people love it. Number 7, I had the babysitter, so I jumped the gun on that, but I just think that's a special little tip. Number 8, I had tried to know, you don't need to know everyone's special drink, but if you know who's coming and you know that one person loves coffee, I know my parents love coffee and they like real half and half creamer. I try to make sure I have that. Whereas John, I don't even think he uses a creamer. I don't think he does. I think he drinks it black. I don't drink coffee. Just make sure you have those things. Like one of my dinner guests, I checked, we knew he only drank water. I knew everyone else what they drank. Or like if they like to drink different alcohol. My mom will say, what kind of beer does John like? Or what kind of wine? Or, something like that. So I think that's a nice thing if you have their, maybe their favorite beer or their favorite drink. I like to have a little bit of a variety and have what, everyone likes to drink. Try to greet your guests at the door. I think it's so nice when you go up to someone's house and there they are and they're just ready to see you. They're happy you're there. You greet them with a smile, welcome them in your home. You may want to introduce them to other people. I can't tell you how many times John and I have been to parties and we get there and I don't really know anyone. We go up to the door. You figure it's probably, you can tell they're having a party, so you don't know if you should ring the doorbell or if you should just walk on in. And then you walk in and you really don't know anyone. And it's just, I just think it's so nice if you will greet them at the door, whether you know them or not, and welcome them into your home. They might need to put their purse somewhere, their jacket. You tell them, like in my house, I tell them they don't have to take off their shoes or anything. And I just think that's very important. And the last tip, and I don't know, what made me think of this. It might have just been self-reflection, because last time we had someone over, I was very prepared. I was still a little anxious just because that's just who I am. John and I just worked so well as a team. We did a fried turkey. He had done the water, so he knew exactly how much oil he needed. It was kind of like he knew what he was in charge of. I knew what I was in charge of, and we worked together as a team. I don't like it. I've seen it on TV, and I have experienced it in person, and I have probably been guilty of it. When you let the pressure of getting everything together and wanting everything to be perfect, and you let it, hey Chanel, create that tension in between you as a couple, and then you stop working as a team and people feel those vibes. I don't like it when couples are fighting, when one is saying something about the other person behind their back. I told him to do this, this, and this. I never want, John to say, oh yeah, she's been freaking out and going off on everybody or something like that. I just think to present your home and your life as a team, to not show little arguments or anything like that, that just makes people feel very, very uncomfortable. And I just don't think it makes for a good dinner party. So I hope that you learned a little bit from my experiences. The bottom line, the most important thing is how you make someone feel. I'm going to put my outfit of the day at the end of this video, and I will see you again real soon. Bye-bye. Okay, I have on these Miramar jeans. These are like the liquid rag and bone Miramar jeans. They're just a wide leg, very soft, like a trouser. And I had to size down, I think, twice. And I really needed to size down again. That's something I'm really talking to myself about, because I almost have to push my stomach out to keep these up. I have on my mango blazer. Oh my goodness, I hope you guys have gotten this. It's so good. My AYR t-shirt, love this. Just, if I had to buy one black t-shirt, black and white, I would suggest those t-shirts. I have on my Dean Davidson 14 karat gold and moonstone charm and the earrings that match it. And the ring that I have on today, it's also a Dean Davidson. This is the Morganite. It's one of my favorite stones. And then the shoes I'm wearing today are kind of an odd choice, and that is just because I have a lot to do. So I wanted to put something comfortable on. Here's Bubba taking his little nap. But I was just noticing how pretty the water is today. In the fall and winter, when the air is crisp and it's not as humid, there is just something about the beach and the ocean in the winter. It's just so, so sparkly. So I hope you can see that. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.